there. Say if you are watching this video, there's a very good chance that you are a High V Kids Fit member. My name is Joe. I am a speaker. I speak in school communities all across the United States. I speak to students, I speak to teachers, and I speak to parents. I share messages on the importance of self-worth and resilience and human connection. It is quite honestly an amazing job. I get to fly all over the country. I get to meet amazing students in amazing schools, and it's quite honestly what I believe the reason I am on this planet. It is my purpose. But when I look back, it's not something that just sort of landed on my lap. That there's a real journey full of experiences and stories that go along to getting me to this spot. In fact, I think it has a lot to do with the topic of spiritual wellness. Let's take a step a few years back. The year was 1997. I was a senior in high school when one of the most amazing things happened to me. We were informed that one of the greatest gospel singers of our time, a man by the name of Robbie Robinson, was coming to our school to perform in a concert for the community. Now, this was a big deal because Robbie was a big deal. And even though I didn't know who he was, the people in our school did. And they told us that this was a very important thing. And the only thing that Robbie had asked for was that we would provide a backup choir for his performance. Sounds pretty easy, except for the fact that we didn't have a choir. And so we had to put this hodgepodge, makeshift choir together, and I got thrown into it. And I'm not gonna lie, I learned in rehearsal number one that I was not a very good singer. In fact, anytime I would sing, Robbie would stop in the middle of whatever song we were in, and he would look in my general direction as if he had smelled something really bad. The look on his face was he was very unimpressed. And then the times when I actually lip sang and I faked it, you know what I mean? I wasn't actually singing. He would stop and say, everybody sounds really great. So I knew that singing wasn't totally for me, but I loved the rehearsals. I loved the experience, and I really loved the night of the performance. We had 400 plus people from the community come to our auditorium, and Robbie did not disappoint. He put on a 2.5-hour concert that was unlike anything any of those people had ever been a part of before. It had energy, it had passion. By the end, last song, he had everybody up on their feet and they're clapping to the beat of the music, and he starts singing the classic song, This Little Light of Mine. And people are singing along with him, and everyone's clapping and smiling, and unbeknownst to the choir, he starts turning around and pointing at individual people to come down and sing a solo from the song. And of course, he pulls down the rock stars, right? Christy Dickinson, she nails it. Garrett Glazer nails it. He pulls down a few other students. They nail it. And then he indicates to the crowd that he's got time for one final soloist. And to my shock and utter horror, Robbie Robinson makes eye contact with me. Oh dear Lord, were the three words that went through my head in that moment. But you don't say no to Robbie, right? So I just started walking towards him. I'm pretty sure I was floating, just levitating, right? But somewhere between Riser and Robbie, I said to myself, Joe Beckman, go big with this moment. And I treated that crowd to the loudest, most robust, most out of tune version of This Little Light of Mine that they had ever heard. And guess what? They loved it. They were going crazy. I got a standing ovation. Well, technically they were already standing, but in my heart, it was a standing ovation. People came up to me afterwards, patting me on the back, telling me I did a great job. And then Robbie himself pulled me aside and he looked at me and he said, son, and I said, yes. He said, you are not a very good singer. And I said, I know. But he said, you have the energy to change people's hearts. And I said, I know. Spiritual wellness so often gets confused with religion and faith. And although many times spirituality can be about your faith and your religion, it's really not about that at all. What spirituality is, at least in the form that we're talking about it today, is really about understanding that you are here on this planet for a bigger purpose, that your passions and your talents, when combined together, can be used to somehow make our world a better place to live. And I believe we get these moments in our lives like I did that night with Robbie, where we have these light bulb moments where things sort of slow down and become very, very clear. Like for me, on the drive home that night, there was something that happened where everything slowed down and I felt this overwhelming feeling of understanding that my purpose on this planet was to somehow, in some way, perform, to be on a stage, to use my gift of performance to somehow make others better. And the truth is, you're here for a purpose. And I don't know what that purpose is, but my advice would be for you to look for the moments, the light bulb moments that present themselves to you. The times when things slow down and in your mind and in your heart and in your soul, you say, this moment is important. We have one shot to be a middle school student, one shot to be a high school student, or one shot to live this thing that we get to call our life. And the sooner we get clear on what our passions are, the sooner we get clear on how we can use those passions to serve other people, man, the bigger the impact that we can leave in this world. And so spiritual wellness to me is number one, acknowledging that you are here for a bigger purpose. Number two, it's looking for the opportunities that present themselves. And number three, it's saying yes to those opportunities, to those light bulb moments, so that you can use your passions and your talents to somehow make our world a better place. I'm gonna be walking you through an activity that can get you started figuring out what it is that you are truly passionate about and what you stand for. So take a peek at that activity. At the end, you'll be able to come up with 3 core words that I think will really help drive the conversation when it comes to spiritual wellness in your life. Until then, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. You are amazing. Let's end this with an air high five. Everybody get your hand up in the air. On the count of 3, just push them towards the screen. If everyone does this, no one's gonna look stupid. Come on with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. You're awesome. Love your faces. Take care. Bye-bye.